Good evening, universe. The first things I should tell you is, number one, this is not the same shirt as yesterday. It's a different style, as you can tell. See, I don't have, what do you call it, a dropped neck. So, it is not the same shirt as yesterday. Number two, I'm late again today with doing my video. I did a workout earlier, but I was drained physically. So I didn't want to come on here like, I wasn't in a bad mood. I was just so worn out. I wanted to get a brief workout in before I laid down, because it's been my experience, and I have heard that if you work out before you lay down, you still sort of have those endorphins burning, and it helps you to keep burning calories while you rest. So, I did that, and then I laid down, and I watched a little Shay Carl, watched a little Trev Chan too, getting his take on Game of Thrones Season 3. Since last we spoke, I have already watched Season 2. And I can't really say that I've watched it as much as I've listened to it, because I've been playing it in the background while I've done paperwork. I will at some point go back and start watching it, episode by episode, when I could sort of chillax for a little while and watch it. Haven't really had that opportunity though. And there's really not a day I can say I will. I do know I would like to do reviews for all of the current episodes before Season 4 airs. Additionally, I am becoming more and more interested in the books for Game of Thrones. I started reading A Song of Ice and Fire yesterday while I was doing some errands, and it's a good book. Almost got through it yesterday. I got a 0 of that noise. But I started listening to that book yesterday, and I like it. I'm a little impatient with it now, because I know how Season 3 already ends, even though I haven't seen Season 3, and that's fine. I'm okay with already knowing it. It doesn't ruin it for me. But knowing how Season 3 ends, and what has occurred to the Starks and everyone else, really has me at a place where I want to know where these books are headed and where they're going, because they're really, while it's being portrayed in a very realistic sense, that's the one thing you have to say about Game of Thrones. And I know there's fantasy with dragons and sci-fi fantasy, so to speak, or medieval fantasy, so to speak. But they're playing it very realistically. They're not showing you these two people feuding and then just other people around you. They've showed a battle for control from the Starks and the Lannisters, and now they're bringing back in the Baratheons, and they've got Daenerys. So they're showing a lot of different groups fighting for control of the throne. And you see how there's a lot of dissension among the groups. And it's a great commentary on history and where we are as people, because we have a lot of that. It's not just, this is like family houses battling for it. But it could just as easily be social warfare or racial warfare or gender warfare. It's that kind of a thing where you see how it stretches the whole spectrum. It's not just white women versus white men. It's not just black women versus black men. It's not Asian women versus Indian men. It's not that thing. It's everybody that dissension and unity, or rather lack of unity, affects. And the actions they take based on their experiences. Don't mean to get terribly... I did it again, earlier. I don't mean to get terribly philosophical about it, but the book really is a philosophical exploration of dissension and the battle for power. Leading into that, so anyways, let me finish with this thing about Game of Thrones. So I really want to read the books. Like I mentioned yesterday, the author is still penning the next couple of books, the last book right now. So it's not all done. He's closer though. And they're only going to get 7, maybe 8 seasons out of it. They're about to start filming season 4, which is a continuation of book 3. So we know he has at least 2 more books after that, which means that if they don't split them up, it at least gets us to season 6, plus the new one he's writing. So at least to season 7. And depending on how they divide it up, we can end up with 8 or 9 seasons. So far, it doesn't show signs of losing steam. So Game of Thrones is going to be a part of our relative culture for at least the next 5 or 6 years. So if you don't like it, get used to it. I certainly have, and grown to enjoy it. And have grown to enjoy it. I know I repeat myself a little bit. The reason I do though is I'm struggling to maintain articulation. For no other reason than I would like to make sure that my sentences don't come out odd. And I sound like I have no concept of grammar. Not that anyone has a concept of grammar when they're overheated. Anyway. So I got my application turned in for the new facility today. Spent a lot of time in Houston this afternoon. And I have we were just talking about Game of Thrones earlier, but I have basically a right hand. His name is Roy. He's worked with me for over a year. Gosh, what? Almost 18 months now. He's been part of the team, and he really makes things happen and does a great job. So I'm really appreciative for Roy and his contributions. And I always try to take care of the people who help make things easier for me. So that's helpful. So that was sort of a lead-in, because Roy, since I don't drive, Roy was driving today. And Bill works hard too, don't get me wrong. It's just Roy's been with me consistently for the longest time. Bill's a great team member as well. They both are. I mean, I really couldn't find 2 better people. They're loyal, they work hard, they make things happen, and I really appreciate it. So. But Roy happened to be behind the wheel today when we were in Houston, and it took a little less than an hour and a half for us to get back here, and it was only 50 or 60 miles from where we were. So in other words, it took about 2 minutes to get a mile, which may not seem like much to people, but in a way, it was kind of a short return from Houston, because you could be dealing with 2-hour delays. But it's still, when you're driving and you've got tons of weightage millions of tons of weightage surrounding you on the road. You have to be sharp and keen, and it's not easy. So, where was I leaning with that? Oh, just that I respect drivers. I wish I could drive, but today, it's one of those days where you really have respect for people who do drive and who put a lot of effort into making sure that when they drive, they're cautious. So I really respect that and appreciate that. Now I'm going to go on a little bit of a political rant, because I heard just a short time ago that apparently the Supreme Court has rejected a motion or a law put into effect by, I'm supposing, the governor and the legislators of Arizona, that requires for people, in order for people to vote, they have to show proof of citizenship. And they said that it was too much of a burden on people. That means one of two things. Either you're too lazy to fill out a piece of paper and prove that you're a citizen, or number two, and it's mostly Democrats that do this, mind you. It really is. Because Republicans are definitely more money oriented, and the illegal immigrants from anywhere, not Mexico, anywhere, Germany, Ireland, wherever, that come here usually get heavily involved in the welfare system. And so they vote Democrat because Democrats are a huge proponent of the welfare system. It's not right, guys. It's not right. If you have worked here your whole life, you were born here, you can prove it, and people who haven't been here should not have power to vote in your elections, in our elections, for people if they are not legal citizens. Because that means you can't prove they've been here longer than a year. It means you can't prove that they've fought to be a legal citizen, a wage-earning citizen who commits, who gives back to the government in a financial sense to help support the structure. So really, they're getting a free vote, and they can vote for whoever they want to, and they're going to vote for the people that are going to encourage them or allow them to get money. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And it's just not right. Arizona has been the only government, state government, that has stood up for the concept of citizenship lately. And the Supreme Court, which, keep in mind, the people appointed to the Supreme Court right now are going to follow the views of the Obama administration. Just like they would if it was a Republican president. They would be following their political agenda, which is controlled by lobbyists. And the bottom line is, they're giving a free vote to someone who can't prove that they've been a part of our country or that they've taken steps to be a legal part of our country. And that's all Arizona is asking for, is for people to prove that they are a legal part of our country. That's more than right. Do you want people voting when they haven't earned the right to vote? When you've worked here your whole life, your parents have, or if you were an immigrant whose family came here and truly fought for citizenship, fought to be a part of this country, took the steps to be a part of this country. Do you want someone else to supersede or to get more than they did? To get better perks than your family who fought? Do you want that? I don't want that. It's not right. 15 minutes fly so fast with you guys. I just don't... We're just in a dangerous place in this country where illegal immigrants are being given benefits they don't deserve. We as a people who've been here for hundreds of years, not me specifically, but my ancestors, your ancestors, if you're a legal citizen, or your ancestors that weren't a legal citizen but came to this country, were born in this country, but came to this country and said, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a citizen of the United States. We should have to show our commitment to this country by proving that we are citizens. Otherwise, you're giving away the vote to people who are only going to use it to their advantage, and yet they don't want to claim or prove that they have put serious investment into being a citizen of this country. It's ridiculous. And if we allow it, and allow the government to continue to abuse this, the welfare system is going to keep taking money from you and me to pay for people who aren't willing to commit the effort to really be a part of our country. And it's not easy to become a citizen, but they're trying to make it easier. It shouldn't be that easy. It shouldn't be as easy as you show up and you're a citizen. It should be something where you've earned it. And I know I've gone over the 15 minutes, but that's okay. I want to get that out. Think about it. Think about what you are for this country. And think about what it's like if your family who has fought and died for this country, your family who moved here and was committed to becoming a part of this country, if all that goes out the window to people who didn't put any effort in to becoming a part of this country, other than coming here, getting money, hiding under the radar, stealing identities of people who are dead in order to benefit from this country's welfare system. Welfare is out of control. It needs to be harnessed. And I don't mean that in a cruel way. I mean, if you stop giving away money for free to people who only came here for free assistance, then they won't keep coming here. Let's fight for the people of this country who put an effort into being a part of this country, who pay taxes, or by God, if they are not able to because of disability or whatever, they put the effort in to being a citizen of this country, because it makes a difference for our future. Anyways, I salute Arizona for its efforts. I'm saddened by the fact that the Supreme Court and the Obama administration is doing this. I'm not Republican or Democrat. I really am not. I dislike politicians across the board. I happen to really disagree with the Obama administration's efforts in this capacity, because Obamacare is taking from people, and that's a whole other thing. They're taking from people who bought houses, and they're taking money from them when it should be their money. They're taking their money and putting it back into the healthcare system. People who worked and bought a house, taking their money, putting it back into the welfare system to pay for people and help support people who are not even legally proven to be citizens of this country. It's ridiculous. We're supporting other nations. We need to be taking care of this nation first. Can't help anybody else until you help yourself. Let's take care of us. Us as a whole. The United States of America citizens. And then help other people. I like helping people, but you can't sacrifice yourself to help others if they're not willing to do something. There you go. 15 minutes, half good, half rant. But it's truth. It's not a bad rant, it's a reality rant. Like it or not. If you have opinions, though, feel free to leave it below. I like feedback, video responses or otherwise. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great night. Thanks for making the time pass so quickly. It really helps. And I really do appreciate it. take it easy, and live with passion.